to meet. Let's see here. Roll call.
Let's see, got Craig, Alex, Dominique, Heidi, Pete. Okay, so we got a full board. I will document that.
Okay. And then if I can get a motion for the approval of the agenda for the September 21st, 2022 meeting of the Sex Offender Residency Board.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then I need a approval of the minutes from the September 21st, 2022 meeting of the Sex Offender Residency Board.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, first on the agenda is the appeal of Eric Spofford requesting to move to 635 Lime Kiln Road, apartment number 5. Eric, you are present?
Yes.
Okay, and you've never been in front of us before?
Yes, 10 years ago.
Yes. Okay, so it's been a while since you've been here. I'm going to first ask the board if they would like him to go through criminal offense.
I read it in the paper that you sent.
I'd like to hear in detail what the incident was.
Okay, so Eric, we're going to ask you what you were convicted of and how everything came about. We ask that you not name the victim by name or relationship. So if you can go ahead and tell us what you were convicted of, please.
I was convicted of repeated sexual assault of a minor child. I pushed my hand down inside the loophole of her shirt, fondled her breast, pushed my hand down inside the back of her pants, and fondled her buttocks. I was sentenced to time served 1 year and 1 month, 5 years probation.
And how old was the victim?
She was 12 at the time, I believe.
And you were how old?
I am now 63.
No, when the offense occurred, how old were you?
51.
Okay. And do you know why you may have done that?
No, our mind was in a different place at the time. I wasn't thinking correctly. Hello?
Yes. Yeah, we're listening.
And I guess I took advantage of a situation, and at first she wasn't not uncomfortable with it, but the more it happened, the more she developed the frustration, the hate, the anger, and finally she decided that this wasn't right and enough was enough. And she asked herself, why was it her?
And then did she go to the police?
She went to her mother, and her mother called the police.
Okay. And when the police confronted you about it, how did that happen?
They first confronted her, I guess. They came to my door about 7 o'clock Saturday evening, I believe, if I remember right. And they knocked on my door, and they said who they were, and they said they were there, that I was under arrest for 4 counts of sexual assault, and they took me into jail. And then I was in jail, and I had a lawyer, and I was there for 13 months, and I took I pleaded guilty sentence was 1 year and 13 months total. It was time served in the Brown County Jail, 5 years probation, and sex offender treatment class.
Alex, do you have any other questions regarding his offense?
Yeah, how did you know the victim?
She was my neighbor
Okay.
next door.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Before we go too far, Eric, I would just like to let you know that if we wish to discuss your treatment, you have the option to do that in closed session or remain in public session. Do you have a preference?
I can do it in public if you wish.
Okay. All right. So, you were ordered to do sex offender treatment, and did you do that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you complete that?
I did that at family service. I was in Jim Drake's group. I was there, I believe, 2 years, maybe longer, I can't quite remember. And when you first get there, I was kind of like not sure about it. But then I thought I'd take it as a learning device, as somebody teaching me how to use my thinking powers, how to stay focused, how to stay away from risky business, and to have a plan for your day, and to have short goals. I know I have short goals, I have a midterm goal, and I have a long-term goal. And I try to make them as see fit. This year, for example, this year my goal was to get a new bed because I had a same one for 10 years. I purchased that, and then we came about to where this building was up for sale, and it was the River Street District. He's on the board of directors, Taro, and he made a purchase offer, and they went back and forth with the deal, and they finally decided on the number, and the building sold last month on September 30th, and I had already started making plans because this is going to be more of a family-oriented place now. There's going to be a lot more people. They have meetings here. They have breakfast, and I share the bathroom with the people in the front. So there's going to be a lot more people than there ever was. And I have to share the bathroom, which is going to be, I see a problem in the future because there's going to be women, children, men, and we're going to be it's going to be way too confusing. And they're here, I don't never know when they're going to be here. Sometimes they come early, sometimes they come late, sometimes they're here late at night. And I've been trying to figure out a schedule when to take a shower and stuff, because it's actually my bathroom, but I let them use it because they don't have one otherwise. So I share the bathroom. So right now, I don't like getting in the shower because I don't know when they're going to be coming. And then I'll have a problem with them knocking on the door and I'm in the shower. That's embarrassing, kind of embarrassing, because then I feel like I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, but I'm doing what I should be doing, just taking a shower. And it's hard for me to work out a schedule. As before, the other tenants, they always had a time. They came and went. Now they come and go as they please, because they have certain things to do during the day, I guess. But they have events scheduled, like when they first moved in, their first event was all bands on deck, and there was just all the way from 9th Street all the way down to Walnut Street is the Shipyard District. So I looked them up and see exactly what they're all about, and they're all about promoting different events and stuff, and they bring money into the community. And there was people for 2 days straight. I lived on Broadway for 10 years. I've never seen that many people. And I just don't figure that this is a proper place for me to be residing anymore. And because of the bathroom situation, I've just decided that I started shopping around for a place to live, and I ran across this place, and it looks like it's pretty much a place that's more industrial, and there's not like a neighborhood or nothing. Whereas here, there's a neighborhood and stuff, and there's always kids around, like community bike center, Green Bay's across the street, and the kids come there to fix their bikes and all that. And I don't really like being around a lot of people, crowded areas. I don't go to 4th of July celebration. I don't go to concerts because it's just, I get uncomfortable.
Okay.
Because, it's just the way I am. I learned from group that it's not that you can't go around and pretend you're normal. So when the tenants would move in, there's been like 5 different ones, and I mentioned to them after they're settled in a little bit, like within a week or 2 after they're settled in, I'd let them know that I was on the registry board because I didn't figure my landlord did. So I took it on my own as not to be pretend normal, so that they could go say they looked it up and found it on their own. That would be even worse.
Okay.
And some took offense to it, some didn't.
At the new place, do you think that's where you told everybody that you're on the registry, or at your old place?
That's where I'm living right now.
Okay.
I haven't moved into my new place. I'm still at the old place. I have a lease and the security deposit paid for this month at the new place, and my security deposit, and I paid for the rent for this month. So I'm asking for permission now being prepared to move.
Okay.
Because
All right. Well, that's why we're here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions regarding any of that? Okay. I guess I would just like to confirm, is it Lieutenant Stroff?
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Can you just confirm that what he did tell us is accurate for, what he was charged with, that there were 4 counts?
Right. Based on the criminal complaint that I have in my hand right now, it appears that he's being very accurate and truthful with what he's telling you. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Eric, I just kind of wanted to touch base. Back when you were here with us in 2012, you indicated that you were on Social Security disability and that you had a head injury and you had experienced seizures. Do you have that under control now? How is your health?
Yes, I've been seeing a neurologist ever since 2002. I take Devicote and I take Celexa, which is Devicote is for seizures, depression, anxiety, and Celexa is for it stabilizes your mood, it keeps you on an even keel, and keeps your mind focused, and always be prepared for the next day. I plan my meals. I cook sometimes for 2 days in a row, and I do other things. In the wintertime, I enjoy doing puzzles.
Okay. All right. And I just want to confirm, you're no longer doing any sex offender treatment, correct?
Yes, I did.
I know you did it, but you're not in it anymore, right?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. And have you had any further law violations?
Not where I was in trouble, where I got arrested, no.
Okay. All right.
I haven't been arrested, and I try to stay out of trouble, trust me. But I've had somebody call the police on me because I was up on a bridge, and all of a sudden the police pulled up, and they said, "Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah." They go, well, we had a concerned motorist say that you look like you were gonna harm yourself. And I was like, no, I'm just watching the ship leave. I told them that I was a registered offender and I wasn't allowed on the boardwalk, so I was waiting for the ship to leave and I was watching the sunset. And they said, oh, okay, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I guess I just want to say that, you know, back in 2012, when you came before us, I didn't have a problem with approving you to live at the address that we allowed you to live, and I wouldn't have an issue at this time, especially since you have not had any further law violations. It's been many, many years, but I don't know how the other board members feel, so I would entertain any kind of discussion from the board.
I agree with you, Heidi.
Okay.
I agree as well.
I'll take a different approach. I think it was a crime of opportunity with somebody that he didn't know intimately, but knew somewhat of, being a neighbor. And so the intent of this ordinance is to try to mitigate opportunities. And if they're going to be in an area by a church or a park, that's more opportunities. So for that reason, I wouldn't be in favor of this request.
Okay. Pete, do you have anything to say?
No, I agree with you and Craig.
Okay. Would anyone want to make a motion?
I move to approve address specific.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay.
All right. So, Eric, you have been approved to reside at the 635 Lime Kiln Road. If you do decide to move from that location, you will need to come back before us again, okay?
Correct.
All right. Did you want us to mail that to the Lime Kiln or the Broadway?
Lime kiln, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time and your consideration.
You're welcome. All
Can I
right,
hang
next.
up?
Yeah.
Can I hang up?
Yes, you can.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Yep, thank you. Next on the agenda is Kevin Bax, who is requesting to move to 919 Gross Avenue. Kevin, you have not been before us, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so as you heard me state earlier, we're going to ask you what you were arrested for, the circumstances surrounding the arrest, and again, please don't state the victim by name or relationship. So, go ahead.
The charge was abduction of a child. I was shoplifting with my friend, and I got chased out the store, so I jumped in the car and left while she was at the vending machine. I was still in the car. And then I went to my mom's and had her sit with the kid in the car until the cops came, and I left.
And did you knew the person of the child?
My friend.
Okay. Okay. And then your mother turned the child over to the police?
Yes.
Okay. And then when did you finally eventually meet with the police?
I ended up getting arrested like a couple weeks later.
And did you know why you were being arrested?
Yes. Yeah, I talked to the cop on the phone as soon as like 5 minutes after I left. And I told him I was leaving the kid with my mom.
Okay. Lieutenant Stroff, is that accurate?
For the most part, it's a summation for sure. There were 4 counts. One was operating a motor vehicle without owner's consent, which is the Wisconsin equivalent of auto theft. Disorderly conduct, failed bail jumping is a misdemeanor, and then abduction of a child. The facts that he stated are accurate.
Okay. And that's in 948 chapter, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
we go-
The abduction is, yes, 948.30, parent 1, parent A.
Okay. But there was no, sexual activity that occurred during that abduction?
Are you asking me?
No.
Sure.
No, not according to criminal complaint.
Okay. All right. All right, so, Mr. Beck, so then what were you, sentenced to on that case?
That one was, I got 8 months county jail with a 5-year imposed paid sentence. Or a 4-year imposed paid.
And then did you go back at any point during that 4 years?
Yes.
And what was that for?
I got new charges of retail theft. I got revoked.
And then did you have to go back to prison?
Yes, I went to prison for 4 years.
Okay. All right. I'm gathering with the first offense, the abduction, did you have to participate in any kind of treatment programs? Oh, I'm sorry, before I ask you that, you do have the right to speak about your treatment in private or public session. What would you prefer?
This is fine.
Okay. Did you have to participate in any kind of treatment?
I just now, when I got out of prison, I got out of prison 3 times now. So this second time I got out is the first time I found out that I had to register as a sex offender. So there was like 8 years where I wasn't registered.
Okay.
But no, I haven't.
All right. And, okay, so this offense took place in 2010, correct?
Yes.
And since 2010, how much of that time have you spent in prison?
6 years.
6 years? Do you currently have any open cases within Brown County?
I do.
And what are those for?
Possession with intent, deliver drugs. There's actually like 16 charges.
And what type of drugs are those?
Meth and heroin.
Does the board have any questions for him?
And that.
Yeah, I've got a question. Kevin, are you working right now?
Not yet. I'm looking for a job still. I've only been out of prison for 2 weeks now.
Okay, do you have transportation?
I do.
And
I'm gathering that you're currently on a cash bond that was posted for these 16 open charges.
Yes.
And where are you in the process of your court?
I just had my arraignment like last week.
Okay. Does the board have any discussion they would like to talk about?
I'm not sure why the legislature made this a 948 to begin with, but I'm in favor of this guy moving.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Like Craig said, it's a weird, I don't know if it's a loophole, but it's a weird trigger to be a 948. So I don't think it's really the intent of the ordinance to prevent somebody like this to move into the area. So I'm okay with approving address specific.
I agree. I mean, we're here to hear about his sex offense, not the rest of his criminal history. So I would have to agree with you too. Would anybody entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve address specific.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, Mr. Beck, Bex, you are approved to reside at 919 Gross Avenue. If you do decide to move from there, you will need to come back before the board.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Dave. All right.
And just as a reminder, before we take motions, I know that there are some speakers on these applicants that are coming up, so
Okay.
before we take motions, please.
Yes.
See if
Yes,
there's anyone who
thank
wants to speak.
Yep, thank you for the reminder.
Yep.
Okay, next on the agenda is the appeal of Aaron Van Caster requesting to move to 1709 Bentwood Drive.
Heidi,
Yes?
I have to let you know that I am aware of Mr. Van Caster. He had come to my place of business to use our computers. I never worked with him directly, and I do feel like I could be impartial.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Van Caster, are you on here?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay, okay, good, thank you. Okay, so this is your first time appearing before us, correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay, so as you heard me state, I'm going to ask you to tell us what you were convicted of, the circumstances surrounding the arrest, and again, please don't name the victim or the relationship. So go ahead.
Okay, I was convicted of 9 counts of child pornography in 2014. I wasn't really in my right mind at the time. I was going through a horrible divorce and a few other factors that were in play there. And at the time, I was living at the 1709 Bentwood Drive address.
Okay, and that's with your mother?
Yes.
Okay. And how did the police get involved?
I was using a BitTorrent, and I believe they monitor that. They monitor.
Okay, great. And so then did the police come to your house and ask you about it?
They came to my place of employment at the time. I was at work when I got arrested. Okay.
And tell us about what happened when you were arrested.
They asked me to what has happened to lead up to it, lead up to my offenses, and to make a statement basically, and then after I made my statement and everything, I did get arrested and was put in Brown County Jail that night, or that day.
Okay. And what type of a sentence did you receive for that?
8 years, 8 years, and then 8 years on paper.
Okay. Lieutenant Stroff, is that accurate?
Yes, 9 charges of possession of child pornography. Search warrant was executed at the Bentwood address, and computer and equipment were removed, and these images were located on that computer and equipment.
Okay. Thank you.
Well,
Mr. Van Caster, if we want to discuss any kind of treatment or anything like that, do you wish to do that in public or remain in private? Private or remain in public session?
We can do it here. I am currently attending SOT under Anger SOT.
Anger? Oh,
Anger. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. And how long have you been attending?
This would be my 2nd week, ma'am. I just started to attend.
Okay. When did you actually get out of prison?
May 24th of this year. I was trying to find a job in between all that time.
Okay. And so you're currently at the TLP, is that correct?
No, ma'am. I am currently at the 1709 address.
Oh. How long have you been there?
Since September 2nd.
Do you know why? I mean, I know you said you weren't in the right state of mind, you were going through a divorce, but how did you actually, were you actively searching out the pornography, or did you happen to stumble upon it?
It was by accident because I was looking for regular pornography. My ex-wife now and I did partake in downloading and finding regular pornography.
And then it just ended up, you started searching for children?
Actually, at one point, since it was a BitTorrent site, yeah, sometimes you don't know what you get until you get it. I don't know if you
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, it's kind of a crapshoot sometimes of what you get and what it says on the little tag before you click on it.
Prior to this arrest, had you ever been in trouble before?
Minor traffic violations, I believe.
Okay. And the only reason why I'm asking is, and maybe either Rachel or Lieutenant Stroff can us out here, but an 8-year in custody seems to be a pretty lengthy sentence for that. Does that seem high, or is that, I guess just from what I'm typically seeing here, I don't see an 8-year sentence.
The last count, I believe it was a 4-year sentence instead of 1 year. Or, yeah, one of the counts was for 4 years instead of like 1 year.
Okay, so each count, I get it. Because you had 9 counts, that's why there's the 8 years. Okay, I understand. Thank you. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, one was longer than the other. It said on my record.
Okay. Does the board have any questions regarding his offense or treatment?
Oh.
Okay.
None here.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you currently on extended supervision?
I am, yeah, yes.
For how long?
8 years.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm also under the GPS. I have a GPS bracelet also.
Is that gonna be for the entire 8 years, or how long are you gonna have that?
I believe it's for the 8 years, yes.
Okay.
Okay, good to know. Okay. So, Aaron, could you tell us, like, you know, after being convicted of this offense, how you feel about the whole situation?
I really do feel bad about it. I shouldn't have got my personal life and my depression in the way of the rest of my feelings and my obligations. I actually was working at 2 jobs before I got when I got arrested. I had bills to pay, things like that. So I really felt down on myself after I did get out, because it was 8 long years, and I had time to reflect on that.
Okay. All right. And what about the current treatment that you're in with Hanger? What kind of things have you learned so far?
Being my 2nd week here, I'm sorry, I also have to stop for a second. Do you need confirmation that I am in SOT program?
Yes.
Okay. Do you need that sent to you?
Typically, people will turn that in when they submit their application.
Okay.
Yeah.
I may have the person that's ahead of it write a letter saying that I've been participating, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. I'm sorry. And what was the question again? I'm sorry.
I know you've only been in there for 2 weeks, but what have you been discussing in the 2 weeks that you've been attending?
The emotional toll that is taken on my family, and like I said before, kind of like the responsibilities that I did have, even though I did a crime. I like I said, I'm reflecting on what I have done and trying to get my emotions more in check. And the group and all of support has also been helping me on that there too. We kind of discuss the same things, emotions, feelings.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure, I'm sorry.
Yep, no, you're okay. Does the board have any further questions that they would like answered? No. Aaron, do you have anyone here to speak on your behalf or against you?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Heidi, there's someone named Amy. I'm trying to get her unmuted. I thought she was on here to speak on his behalf.
Oh, okay.
Amy, you're muted.
I'm here to speak on the behalf of Derek Van Roy.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
My mistake. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So, and before we entertain a motion, I would just like to say, you know, he just got out of prison, you know, back in May, and just now is kind of enrolled into the treatment. I'd feel a little bit more comfortable approving him if he had a little bit more treatment under his belt versus just only 2 weeks. But that's my opinion. Anybody else?
This guy paid his price, did his time. He's got a good job. He's involved in circles of support. He's going to be living with his mother. He's on GPS for 8 years. I'm going to be voting yes for him.
Attorney Mays, is it appropriate to, if we make a motion to approve adder specific, make that contingent upon proof of participation in sex offender training? Is that an appropriate motion?
Yeah, that is a condition that could be attached to a motion to approve. Typically, if we've done something like that in the past, there's a date by which the proof has to be provided to the law department. And then as long as we receive that, then the approval goes through. If we don't receive it, then the contingency hasn't been met and it's treated as a denial until the next meeting or until it's added back to the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
May I say something?
Go ahead.
I'm at SOT right now. I can get you the person that is heading up the program right now.
We'll request something in writing from them and have them send it to the Green Bay City Attorney's Office.
Okay. I will do something. Thank you.
Would anyone like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve adder specific contingent upon proof of participation in sex offender training with a letter sent to the Green Bay City Law Office by Wednesday, October 26, 2022.
I'll second that.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, Aaron, so you have been approved. You need to make sure that we receive that documentation by next Wednesday. If we do not receive that, you will be considered that you were denied and you will be in violation of the Green Bay City ordinance.
Okay, understood.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep. All right, our next appeal is Derek Van Roy requesting to move to 315 Swiss Hill Drive. Derek, you are here?
Yes.
Okay. And this is your first time appearing before the board?
No.
Oh, hold on. Oh, back in 2020 you were here, correct?
Yeah. We couldn't get it was right at the peak kind of start of COVID, and we couldn't get communication to where I could talk to you guys, so it was denied just because I couldn't really say anything to anybody because of the phone not working. So.
And then Heidi, he withdrew his application and it was removed. It wasn't removed from the agenda in time because we put him back on for June of 2020.
Yep.
And then the address he's been at is in the town of Green Bay, not the city.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So we really have not ever heard about what you were convicted of and how everything came about. So I'm going to ask you, like we've done to the other individuals, if you could tell us what you were convicted of, how it came about, and please don't state the victim by name or relationship.
Okay. I was convicted of repeated sexual assault of a child under the age of 13. This went on for, I don't remember how long it went on for. It was 9-10 months. When I was in contact with the victim, I would touch and lick her vagina. I would, or perform oral sex on her, I guess. I had her touch me, perform oral sex on me, and it happened. I don't remember exactly how many times that it happened in that time, but it happened obviously more times than it should have. And yeah.
And how old was the victim?
8.
And you were how old?
30, 31, 32, 20. Yeah, 30, 32, I think.
All right. And then how did the police get involved?
The victim told her mother, who then called the Green Bay Police Department, and then they came and talked to me.
And did you admit to everything?
At the time of my arrest, I chose not to speak with the officers, but I did plead guilty in court.
And what kind of a sentence did you receive for that?
5 years incarceration and 10 years of extended supervision.
And when did you get out of prison?
I don't know the exact date. It was May of 2020.
And so how long are you on extended supervision till?
2030. 7.5. 7 more years, 7.5 more years.
Okay. And since your release, have you had any further law violations or probation violations?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Lieutenant Stroff, is his version of the incident correct?
Well, the details of the assault are consistent with the criminal complaint. There are 3 separate charges in the complaint. If you'd like me to read those, I can.
Yes, please.
Count 1 is repeated sexual assault of a child. Count 2 is incest. Count 3 is exposing genitals.
Okay.
Those were dismissed but read in. I didn't realize that you wanted those as well. I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right. Does the board have any questions about his?
Not sure how to ask the question without potentially exposing who it was. So how did you know this victim?
I was related to him, I guess is the easiest way to say it. Or the confidential way, I don't know.
Okay. All right, never mind. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Derek, if we want to talk about treatment, would you like to do that in private session or remain in public session?
We can do it in public, that's fine.
All right. Have you done any kind of sex offender treatment?
I have.
All right. And when and where did you do that?
I did sex offender treatment at Red Granite Correctional, and that was, I believe it got completed in just before I got out, but it was, I don't know, like 90 hours worth of programming. I don't remember the duration of it, but it was a SOT2, the DOC calls it.
Yeah. And then did you receive any treatment after your release?
No.
Okay, so you just did SOT2 while you were incarcerated?
Yes, it was, the recommendation was because of my low risk levels that there wasn't a recommendation for continued treatment, sex offender treatment.
Okay. All right. Can you tell us what you learned during that treatment? Like maybe why you did what you did?
Kind of, the biggest one was, it started out just crossing, little boundaries that, seem insignificant. I mean, it was a factor. It wasn't the driving factor, but I was going through a divorce at the time, or the tail end of, just after the divorce, I should say. And, for me, it was, the beginning was just talking to somebody about things it was a shoulder to cry on that was not judgmental about, things that happened in life. And that obviously was an inappropriate relationship to have with someone, and you know it progressed there, and that's kind of what I learned is that you know it doesn't matter where it starts, you can't let it start, because as far as that direction.
Okay. Does the board have any questions regarding his treatment? Any other questions they have for Mr. Van Roy? Mr. Van Roy, where are you currently working?
I work for a company called Fighter Tech Nonwovens.
What kind of hours do you work there?
Right now I'm kind of working 11 to 9. It's kind of, I might come in a little early, might stay a little later, but that's kind of my core hours are supposed to be 12 to 9, but if I come in early and don't take a lunch, I generally cut out a little early. I work in the IT department here, so.
Okay. And it looks like, are you going to be residing with your father?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone else going to be living there with you?
Just the 2 dogs.
Okay. All right. And I understand that you have somebody who wants to speak on your behalf. Is that correct?
I believe my father wanted to speak on my behalf, and then Amy, I think she just wanted to hear, I guess, the meeting of my mother. But I don't know if she had anything to say or not.
Amy, did you want to speak?
No, I don't need to speak.
Okay. Richard, are you going to speak on behalf of your son?
Yes.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record.
Richard Van Roy, 315 Swissville Drive, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Okay, and what would you like to say?
Well, there's a lot of things that I don't think he mentioned that didn't come out. When he was incarcerated, he also took, there was an anger management class that he took. I think he took an alcohol assessment class. Yeah, I guess that's what it's called. He enrolled and got some classes from NWC he took by correspondence. He put forth an effort, and not just to leave things as they were, but to improve circumstances. Prior to him going to Red Granite, from the time that he got arrested till the sentence took place, he's spent quite a few months over famous services with Jim Drake. Other than that, same thing. When he was going through what he's going through, there were a bunch of circumstances that transpired during a period of time, which is certainly no excuse. But I think at that time he was in a very depressed state, and that the victim gave him support, and he misinterpreted that to think he wasn't thinking clearly. The reason for the alcohol assessment, because if I remember correctly, when he was there, he was drinking all the time. He would have to drink. Mine was going with the divorce that was going on. His grandfather had died not before that. People were leaving. He was so those things going on in his mind. He was coping with a lot of drinking, which made his judgment not correct. Since that time, since he's got out, he's got himself a job. I've seen him improve in all aspects. He certainly has told me that he understands the harm that he's done and how he felt about it. I guess that's about it. I could probably talk for a long time, but that kind of is the bones of it, I guess.
Okay. Are you going to have any rules, for him?
Any rules?
Yeah, So, do you have drinking allowed in your home?
No, there's alcohol here. Yesterday, the DOC did a walkthrough.
Okay, all right. What about, I don't know if you have any grandchildren or other children.
Yes, I have grandchildren, and most of them are at an age, in fact, seeing grandpa isn't the most enjoyable experience for them. One's in college, so that one's whatever. A couple of them one's a senior in high school, a couple of them are juniors in high school. They're all older, so I really don't. I mean, I do spend time with them. My daughter has a Cousin's Day, she calls it, in the summer, where they all get together at her house, time with them, and I do go to their sporting events and watch those, and have conversation. Over here, no, I have no intentions I don't. Christmas, the rest of it, I just want to go over there and give them their presents. I don't have communication with putting on an event that's not something I'm interested in.
Sure. All right. Thank you. Does the board have any questions for him?
None here.
Okay. Derek, was there anyone else that was for or against you?
Just my mom, my dad. I don't know of anybody else.
Okay. Does the board have any comments or discussion they would like to have?
Guy did his time, got through sex offender treatment. He's working. He's got good family support. I'm going to vote yes.
Yeah, I don't think the address is going to trigger or increase the chances of another offense occurring, so I'm in support.
I would agree with both of you. Is there anyone who would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. Move to approve, address specific.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Mr. Van Roy, you are approved to reside at 315 Swiss Hill Drive. If you do decide to move from that location, you will need to come back before us.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the appeal of Tanner Decker requesting to move to 1722 Carroll Street. Tanner, have you ever been before us?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, like everyone else, we're going to ask you to tell us what you were convicted of. If you, please don't mention the victim by name or relationship, and then how the police got involved.
Absolutely. I was convicted of sexual assault of a child 3 times. I was convicted, well, it was brought to the attention by the police to me, I believe, in around the 2019-2020 year. It started with a phone call saying, hey, we'd like to bring you in for questioning. I went there with an I voluntarily went down there and told them the story of what had happened, the actions that took place, of the oral sex that had taken place, as well as hands on the private parts of the victim as well too. The actions took place when I was between the ages of 14 and 16. The victim's age, she was 4 years younger. She was 4 years younger than me over that time.
So how come it got brought out so much later?
She, similar to what Mr. is it Caker? Sorry, I don't want to mispronounce the
Caker. Baker with a K.
Similar to that, I was I was living with the victim without getting too personal, I guess we'd say the correct answer would be. It was later brought to a family member, and that family member called it in.
Okay. And when you say times 3, that means you only did this 3 times, or was this?
No, that's what I was charged with over the 3-year span. It happened over the 3-year span between, I believe in the criminal complaint, I said it was between like 6 to 8 times over the 3-year span.
Okay, so I'm just a tad bit, I need our law department to clarify this for me. So you were technically a juvenile when this occurred. However,
Correct.
you were an adult once it came to light.
Correct. So my attorney, I had a public defender, Peter Hine. Because I wasn't charged as a juvenile, they were legally able to charge me as an adult.
Okay.
Is what I was told. I wasn't charged then, and so it got brought to light, like I said, in the year 2019, 2020. And then I was convicted May 7th of 2021. It was a Friday morning, and I was granted electronic monitoring program. I was working at Ashley Furniture at the time. I was released once everything was confirmed. Sunday morning, Monday morning. That following Sunday, Monday, I can't quite remember what day. And then I served on the electronic monitoring device for a year while working. And then I have like 6.5 years left of probation.
When did you do the monitoring program?
May 7th of 2022. So I was just on the electronic monitoring device for 1 year.
Okay. All right. Lieutenant Stroff, can you confirm the details of his arrest?
Yes. The number of occurrences documented in the criminal complaint are 2 separate sexual type of contacts. One was mentioned 10 times throughout that 3-year period. The second type of contact was also mentioned 10 times. So for whatever that's worth, that was the only number I could find in here as far as specific events within that 3-year time period. The remainder of what I'm hearing is accurate as compared to the criminal complaint.
Okay, thank you. Does the board have any questions regarding his offense? All right. Tanner, if we would like to talk about any kind of treatment, do you wish to do that in public session or go into private session?
Public session is fine.
Okay. Have you received any kind of sex offender treatment?
So I was referred to Pablo at Hanger. He put me through a mental evaluation, mental assessment, and it came back being that I didn't need sex offender treatment. And then about 1.5 months to 2 months later, it was best deemed suitable for me to go through a Thinking for Change group, which I started there in the middle of August, and I'm currently still enrolled in that group. We meet every Tuesday.
Okay. Why don't you tell us what you're learning at Thinking for Change?
Absolutely. So in the first beginning steps, it was really life-changing for me because I'm not really one to ever really talk about feelings. Like, I would always neglect them, and then once I was convicted, I was really kind of forced to look myself in the mirror and figure out why everything happened. And it's human nature to try to deflect everything, but going through it made me realize all of the problems that I put myself in when I was younger were because of me. There were decisions that I decided to make. It wasn't decisions that Bob tried. Example here, it wasn't they weren't outside influences. Everything was deemed upon me, and the only person at the end of the day that is willing to make the change and be the better themselves is you, and no one else can do it. I am only on step 4. I believe it's a 9-step program, So step 4 and 5 is where we really start to get like deep into more of like implementing that change, where steps 1, 2, and 3 we're talking about where if you could essentially have a time clock and rewind it, like what would you have done differently 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and a year ago versus what had actually happened and everything like that.
Okay. Does the board have questions about that treatment?
None here.
Thank you. Tanner, do you have anyone that is here to speak on your behalf or against you?
Yes, I do. I have my mother, Jessica Jones, and I have my significant other, Megan Prather, as well.
All right. Would one of you like to speak first? Jessica?
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. What would you like to say on behalf of your son?
Yes. So,
We get a name and address first.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
So it's Jessica Jones, 15059 NC Highway 96 North, Zebulon, North Carolina, 27597.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, he, you know, he's my son. He's gone on to get a college education. He has a great job. He works full time for Schneider as a broker. A good relationship with his probation officer. She runs a very, which is good. It's good, and I think that should be expected. And she really challenged him, and through the challenging of him and the treatments that he has received, has come a young man who, like he said, he really wasn't about talking about his feelings or talking about his anger. His big thing was hockey or working out, or just shutting down, to where now I have a son who's 26 who wants to talk about his feelings. He's a father. He has 2-year-old Miss Collins, and they have another on the way. And I just, through all of these challenges that have come through our family, it can either make you or break you, and it has really made him better, if you can believe that.
Okay. Was he living with you when he was convicted of this offense? Or, well, when the offense occurred?
That's a great question. We had joint custody, my ex-husband and I, so the kids just kind of came and went. From what I understand, none of these occurrences happened at my place of residency.
Okay. And once you found out that he was convicted of, or, you know, charged with this, how did you feel about that?
Well, I think we had just moved to North Carolina, and when all this kind of came about, and when I found where our family was going to be going, immediately knew that counseling for all of us was going to be necessary. And to be honest, I think my soul went to a pretty dark place as well. Like I shut down to my kids, to my husband, to my family. I would talk to people via text or on a phone call with anybody.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I think I covered it. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me, but otherwise, no, I'm good.
Okay. Does the board have any questions for her? No.
None here.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Jessica. Megan?
She's muted, she just needs to get unmuted. There she is.
All right.
Can you hear
Megan,
me?
if you could just please state your record.
Yep, Megan Prather, 1621 11th Ave, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54304.
Okay. And what would you like to say on behalf of Mr. Decker?
Yeah, so I am Tanner's significant other. I'll try not to reiterate too much what Jessica had stated, but as she stated, Tanner is a father of a 2-year-old, and he has a relationship with her, and we are also expecting a child in February. And I just want to state that since I've been with Tanner, he has really come a long way. When I did start our relationship, he was honest with me, even on our first date, what had occurred with his charges, and he's very respectful with even, you know, how I took that information, and he even let me know, like, if this isn't something that you're willing to move forward with, I completely respect that, and you can obviously walk if that's what you want. You know, I stuck it out to just kind of see how he was, and since then I've even seen him grow as a person. He wasn't really much one to express his feelings as he stated, but I think that I have really pushed him to be a better person that way, with expressing his feelings and really encouraging him to. I work as a social worker for Fond du Lac County, so, you know, I know what's wrong and right for him, and I think he really takes that into consideration when I do give him advice for things. You know, I don't see a threat in him at all. I, you know, feel really comfortable with him. He's always been super respectful for me in every aspect of our lives, and we're just trying to, you know, build our family together and kind of move into a place that is suitable for the both of us, which is why we want this move to occur. So yeah, he's just a very respectful person, and I don't know how else to express that. I mean, he opens up to me about all of his feelings at all times. I don't think there's a time where if something makes him frustrated, he doesn't call me, even in the middle of the day while he's at work, if something is frustrating to him. So he's really come a long way with expressing his feelings to me.
Okay. And how long have you been together?
We have been together since February of this year.
Okay. All right. Does the board have any questions for Megan? All right. Is there any discussion anyone would like to have?
Well, this was ultimately a delinquency. Strange how it got into the adult system. I don't know, that's odd, but I don't have a problem for voting for him to.
I'd have to agree with you, Craig. I was kind of confused about the whole situation myself, and he was able to describe it pretty good, and it obviously sounds like he has a very, very good support system, so I wouldn't have an issue with it either.
Also, I used to teach Thinking for Change, and he's got it down really well.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
All right, is there anyone who would like to make a motion?
Move to approve address specific.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, Mr. Decker, you're approved to reside at 1722 Carroll Ave. If you do decide to move from that location, you will need to come back before the board.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you. All right, next on the agenda is the appeal of Kim Fellers. All right, Kim, I see you there. Kim has been before the board for many, many separate occasions. I don't recall seeing the actual criminal, the offenses listed. Was that in there? Do you guys need her to go over her, what she was convicted of?
I do not.
Nobody?
Nope.
Okay. So, Kim, so you're currently at the Leo Street apartment?
Yes.
Is that correct? And
yes.
Where were you prior to that? Were you at the Moraine Terrace?
Yes.
Okay, and why are you wanting to move?
Well, I got a whole house to move into for $25 more. So my 6-year-old has a huge backyard to play in and be safe in.
Okay. And are you working right now?
I'm on Social Security.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Does anyone have questions for her? Does anyone want to discuss her treatment? Okay. Well, I'd just like to say, I mean, Kim, like I said, you've been coming before us on many, many occasions, and you've always been compliant with everything that we've asked. And I don't really see an issue with you moving to this new address, unless any of the board members feel something different or would entertain a conversation.
No, given that she's been approved in the past, I have no issue.
Yeah, it seems like you've done what you needed to do since the offense occurred, so I'm okay.
It's my 4 years clean and sober date of my sobriety, so I got 4 years in today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, is there anybody who would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve address specific.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, well, Kim, you're good to go. You know the routine. If you're gonna move, come back before us.
I will. Thanks, guys. You just made my 6-year-old very happy. She loves that backyard.
All right, good. All right, take care.
Yep, bye-bye.
All right, is there any discussion that any of the board members need to have?
No.
No.
I just wanted to point out that on the agenda, item C, the approval for the agenda still have the September date. So we can correct that as a Scrivener's error. I just wanted to make sure that that wouldn't affect anyone's vote for the approval of the agenda for today's meeting.
My apologies, guys. That was my mistake.
That's okay.
You see how much we pay attention.
I didn't notice it until after you voted. Oh my.
And did I say the September agenda?
I don't recall if you said September 21st or if you just said today's agenda.
Okay.
I would have to verify with Instant Replay.
Attorney Mays, is this supposed to say somewhere on the screen that it's recording? Because I thought it always has, and today I didn't notice it. Is that gonna be a problem?
I'll defer to you.
I recorded in the IT training room, and so the buttons are separate. You might have noticed it in August because when Lindsay filled in for me, she recorded it while in Zoom. But normally I do it in the IT room and it doesn't show up on here. But
Gotcha.
starting next month, we'll be in room 310 and we'll be doing a hybrid. I just got the instructions for doing the hybrid meeting today.
All right.
Okay, good. So then, yes, our next meeting is scheduled for November 16th at 4 p.m. And it's hybrid. So we'll keep you posted, Deanna, what we're going to do.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there any further discussion that anyone needs to talk about? Otherwise, we'll
move to adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. Well, everyone have a good evening.
Thank you,
Thank
you
you.
too.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.